Joey, it's been a bit since we had an opportunity to do some bantering.
Yeah.
We finished up. Go ahead.
I would say we had a lot of good guests, and then the holidays.
Yeah. It's the last at least 2 months has been kind of each episode has kind of had its own like main focus. Whether it be like this freaky show over the course of October, the interviews with Sophie and the Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Power Ranger, which R.I.P. to the passing of a recent Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Kind of sad how that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever determine how, like, was it suicide? Was that the determination?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I thought, for some reason, it was heart disease, but I really didn't give it enough attention.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting confused with, like, suicide awareness or something like that, but I thought it was something.
Oh, yeah. Jason
suicide.
David Frank died by suicide, wife says.
Yeah, that's
this
sad.
is in the last 10 hours it came out.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. And Aaron Carter passed away, too. Sad.
Yeah.
A lot of passings. But anyways, obviously we had interviews with Sophie and the Power Ranger. We had interviews with Babes of Lore, which kind of rolled into this freaky show, but also, excuse me, I'm sorry, I can't think of their names right now. Wayward Raven.
Oh, yeah, Wayward Raven, yeah.
Which
successful Kickstarter.
Absolutely. Well, I think because they hit 100% why the interview is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, awesome job on your part for taking the reins on that, as I kind of dropped the ball and ran late.
You're good. Yeah, it all worked out.
So awesome interview. You did a great job. I'm very proud of you. But there was something that I've been glad and hoping and happy to speak about for the last month. And yeah, it's been about a little over a month and everything. And I wanted to wait until we had a full episode to do it. And obviously I was talking about my job change. It's not so much a career change because it's in the same industry, but leaving one job and going to another. And it dawned on me since I started this new job that I've been living like a completely miserable life.
Yeah.
And I want to talk a little bit about that and kind of want to dive into the situation I was at in my previous job, and the situation that I feel like I am at in my new job. And obviously to protect anything against any companies, I'm not going to mention their names. I probably have at one point or another. People who know me know the companies I'm talking about. And I'm not going to name names, but I will name people.
Yeah, no legally actionable.
Exactly. 100%. So I want to dive into all that and kind of break down the timeline for that. Before we do, I just want to remind all you guys that this episode of this freaking show is brought to you by CarterComics.com. That's right, guys. It's the one stop. Oh my God, Joe, you know what? I had a rhyme that I said in a Carter Comics plug on JFW.
Oh, yeah?
And I can't remember what the hell it is. And I kept thinking to myself when I was telling Nubby, like, I have a rhyme and I want to use it going forward. And I can't remember what it is. I'm going to have to go back and listen to the episode and find it. I'm going to have to memorize it because it was a pretty sweet one. It was an obvious one.
It wasn't just one-stop shop. It was something else.
Not even that. It was almost like rhyming a sentence with a sentence. So not even words within a sentence, but two completely different sentences, one right after another, almost poetic.
Nice. I love that.
And the thing is, like, the words don't end with the same letters, but it ends with the same sound.
Ooh.
And I'm like, that's perfect. But now I can't remember what the hell it is. But I'm gonna have to go back and look at it because I love it, and I'm like, I don't know how I haven't used that. But I'm going to go back so I can use it. Anyways, Carter Comics is a one-stop shop for all your comic needs. If you guys are looking for something to get anybody during the holidays, you know, some of your comic fans, some friends who love comics, who collect comics, and you're like, oh no, I want to get them a comic, but where do I go? Do I go online? I mean, yeah, of course you go online, but where do you want to go online? Do you want to go to one of these big box stores like an Amazon? No. Unless Amazon wants to sponsor us. You know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'll take Audible. Oh, yeah. That's true. I guess Audible is owned by Amazon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bezos, for your money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the best place to get your comics, obviously, is CarterComics.com. And you wonder, like, well, Travis, why do you say obviously? Because I'm a huge supporter of mom and pop shops, buying small, buying local and everything, because you're contributing to somebody. And also they're personal friends of mine, and I love them, and I want to see their business succeed. That's why we're here talking about them. That's why I cash their checks.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right. So CarterComics.com is your best place to go to get your all. Why am I screwing up the words? It's because I'm thinking of the rhyme.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, it sucks because I'm trying to do the plug, and yet in my head I'm trying to figure out what the hell the rhyme is. And it worries me that I'm not going to be able to get through this without keep fucking up. And I feel bad because I want to do right by Dr. Doug and his wife, and you know, I just, oh my God, it's gonna.
Nah, he knows what he bought.
He gets it. He gets it. Check cleared this month. Whether it be graded or raw comics, CarterComics.com is the place to go. Check out CarterComics.com. Check out their amazing store full of Carter Comics. And then use the discount code FREAKNET, FREAKNET. Save yourself 10% on your entire order of comics. Not to mention, there are 4 different eBay accounts that are actually linked to their homepage at CarterComics.com that our discount code FREAKNET will save you 10% on your orders through their eBay accounts as well. So you can save 10% whether you buy through their store or if you buy through their eBay accounts. And we mentioned it as a discount code, not a promo code, because our code can be used continuously over and over, forever. Unlike promo codes where you use them, they're one and done. So, yeah.
Nice.
CarterComics.com. Get your comics today. It's the holiday season. Get it now. Get your comics today.
Word.
Yeah.
Speaking of Audible and Amazon, I was tempted to just leave it be. Just let it that be the plug before earlier.
Yeah, is that it?
But then I thought, you know what I didn't do was include the URL, which is audibletrial.com/freaknet, which is where you can go to get a free 30-day trial of Audible and a credit towards your first audiobook purchase. Maybe there's something you've been really jonesing to read. Maybe there's somebody in your life who really wants to read something. An Audible subscription would be a fantastic gift to give to somebody. So head on over to audibletrial.com/freaknet, pick something up today. Great way to ignore your family during the holiday season. Wear earbuds and listen to an audiobook. You don't want to talk politics. You don't want to talk religion. You just want to eat your turkey or ham or whatever holiday meat is available. Pop in your earbuds. Listen to an audiobook. You eat too much turkey. You have to poop. Pop in your earbuds. Listen to an audiobook.
True that.
It's a great way to spend the holidays listening to an audiobook. Head over to audibletrial.com/freaknet right now. Sign up. Get your free 30-day trial. It'll get you through Christmas at this point. Mm-hmm. And free credit towards your first audiobook. What are you waiting for?
To that. You know, what's also cool about Audible there, Joe, is you know, a lot of people have like New Year's resolutions of you know, like I'm going to read more next year. My New Year's resolution is to read more, to broaden my mind into literature. Now, granted, yes, Audible.com isn't a bookstore, but it is an audio bookstore, as Joe has mentioned. So I do believe, for my personal opinion, that if you listen to a book being read to you, it's just as good if you were to read that book yourself.
Oh, so, yeah, for sure.
I think realistically, if you're going to have a New Year's resolution of, I want to read a new book, I want to read more. I think if you were to change that to, I want to listen more, then you go to audibletrial.com/freaknet and you can listen to audiobooks being read to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the first month of January, if you were to sign up December 31st or December 30th, whichever, that first month of January, because of our link, 100% free. So you get to feel what it's like to get a book read to you for the first month of January. Because we do know that, you know, New Year's resolutions really don't last. You know, sometimes they fall off. But this gives you an opportunity to try your resolution absolutely free. It's not like signing up for a gym that you got to pay for. It's not like sign up for, these weird diets. You gotta get these different containers or these different shakes and everything. Like, this is absolutely free to you to try to achieve some kind of New Year's resolution. And then after that, if you continue on, then yeah, you could pay monthly, you get more books, you can, continue on to read and everything, and you can say, thank you, Cartoon Joe. Thank you, Travis C. Thank you, Freaknet Studios, for allowing me to succeed at my New Year's resolution. And even if you fail after January and you decide you want to cancel on February, that's fine. We won't shame you for failing. It's okay. But at least we're there to help give you a free month of Audible plus the credit that gives you the free book.
Yep.
And if you fail at your resolution, it didn't cost you nothing more than a little time to sign up. That's all it is.
There it is.
100%. And I know you're thinking, oh shit, audibletrial.com/freaknet. How do you spell all that? What the hell, what do I gotta type in? If you go to thisfreakinshow.com and you click on the Audible link that's on our front page, it takes you directly to where you need to go to sign up.
Oh man, I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I probably should have mentioned I did that.
What a clutch move.
Yeah. I'm also thinking, I don't know if I told you this or not. This is unplugged. We're done with plugs. This is different now. I don't know if I told you this or not, but I've been contemplating very strongly on centralizing our shit down into one website.
Yeah,
because
that makes sense.
Because here's my problem. And if we were a bigger company and we were to have, like, I don't know, employees or somebody that said, hey, your whole job is our social media, our internet fucking presence.
Yeah, sure.
Then hey, great. But I just realized, as I say things like, I want us to be more involved on the internet. I want us to be more involved in social media. I want us to do more in that sense. But then when I sit there and I look at the list of, like, okay, so I got 3 websites, I got 3 Twitters, I got 2 Twitters, I got 3 websites, 2 Twitters, 3 Instagrams, 3 Facebook pages.
Sure.
So fucking much.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking to myself, like, it's like, I got Freaknet Studios. That's the umbrella of JFW and This Freaking Show. And Freaknet Studios has an Instagram, it has a Facebook, it has a website. It's like, why can't I just have this shit on the one website? Like,
yeah, no reason, really.
Like, no, I love the fact that I own thisfreakinshow.com, and I probably, even if I was to take This Freaking Show and just make it a tab on Freaknet Studios,
right,
I probably would never get rid of the thisfreakinshow.com.
Oh yeah, no, you just have to redirect to the tab. Yeah,
exactly. And this is where I'm torn because, like, it's simpler just to do that. If I cut everything down to one Facebook, one Instagram, one website, and everything is off of those, it's 10 times easier. But then at the same time, it's like, This Freaking Show has like more than just, like, links to our streaming, the streaming services that our podcasts go to, or our tpublic.com link, or our sponsors and everything. It has a list of all our guests and stuff on there, which I do got to update too because I am a little behind on that. So it's like I really want to keep everything, but at the same time, it's like, what's the point of having it if it's not being used?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's gonna be one of the things.
To stop other people from using it.
What's up?
It's to stop other people from using it.
Yeah, exactly. So it might be one of the things that we got to consider because obviously we're coming towards the end of the year and we got to have kind of our meeting on what we're going to do going forward. Because there are still plans for next year that we want to try to achieve and grow. Like, I don't know where you are mindset wise on still doing that additional show.
Yeah, I was actually just talking about that with my wife the other day.
Oh, what'd she think?
That I'll never make it happen.
No,
because I'm all ideas and no follow through.
Oh, we don't have to do it, Joe.
I really want to try. I'm
going to tell you right now, Joe. If you want to do it, I can make it happen.
Oh, I know that. Well, that's what I told her. I was like, "No, Travis is doing a really good job of making things actually happen lately."
Yeah, Yeah, here's the whole thing, and it kind of falls all back to that Pretty Little Freaks podcast thing. We tried it, it didn't work. Oh well. What it cost us? A fucking a Podbean subscription.
Right.
You know, is what it is. But that's the whole point of having the sponsorship and having the money come in from CarterComics.com is to help us grow and help us. I mean, like I still, Doug still reaches out from time to time. He's like, hey, how's everything going and everything. And I know that he's kind of like, like, hey, you guys going to start doing more? I mean, here's some fucking money and shit. Which, and I get it, like he wants us to succeed. His dream for us is for this to be our job.
Oh yeah.
Because this dude, regardless of the fact that he's a sponsor, and regardless of everything I joked about him, about his weird bowel movements or his funny face or the way he walks, whatever it is, great fucking guy.
Yeah, really good dude.
He invested in us because he wants us to invest in ourselves, and it's like I told him, like, if I can make this my job, perfect. I'd be fucking happy. I'd find a way to fucking do it if I could. Now, I'm not at the point where, like, I'm quitting my job and I'm all in on this because I don't have that nest egg to even try to do something like that.
Yeah.
But if we could find ways to do to even get us to lean towards that point. And that was a big thing why Freakin Studios even became an idea. Because if I could pull stuff from this Freakin show and I could pull stuff from JFW and collectively that could find a way to grow us as a whole, then that's even better. But he wants us to succeed. He wants us to use the money that he gives us to network and to grow what we do. And that's what we do. Podbean, I think, is like it's somewhere between $90 and $100 a year for a subscription. That's all it costs us. And another thing that may cost us, is to buy the domain. And we're just, for right now, we don't really need a website. I mean, we could find a generic fucking, like a .org or .co, wherever the cheap. We're not buying the .com one. That's clearly not happening. Cause that was like $100 for that goofy ass thing.
Right. Yeah. That was ridiculous.
But again, and it all goes back to, like, if it's a Freakin Studios, show, it could just go onto the Freakin Studios fucking page.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I'm telling you right now, Joe, if you want it to happen, we could do it because I'm motivated to fucking do it because I know you be. And here's the thing, because it's going to be your show to host. I'm just going to be there.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to, Joe, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I keep getting these stupid ass fucking notifications on my computer. Are those coming through my headphones?
Oh, I'm not hearing them, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, because I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know if it's Discord. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it keeps fucking beeping and it's bugging the hell out of me. And I keep thinking to myself, like, because and I'll be honest with you guys, I don't really go back and listen to our shows a lot. I will, like, maybe a year or so from now, just to kind of like reminisce about shit. But through editing, it's kind of quickly get the stuff out because I want to get the stuff out to you right away. So I don't know if these fucking beeps are coming through. So if you're listening to our show right now, I don't know what timestamp this is, somewhere around 18, 19 minutes right now, including intro and shit. If you're hearing beeps in our show, please message me and let me know. And I'll try to do my best to fix that because I really don't want to do that anymore. Comment on Facebook or message us, thisfreakinshow@yahoo.com, or comment on Podbean, guys, the thing. Anyways, I'm motivated to do it. We just got to figure out a day to do it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because as of right now, with my life, I do JFW on Monday, This Freakin Show on Tuesday. I have nothing going on Wednesday. I do the wrestling school when I could get there on Thursday. And then I got Friday through my weekend. So if we were to do this podcast, it would have to be somewhere on, Wednesday you got Geekcast Live. So it had to be like a Friday or Saturday. Now, I would vote, if I had my choice, I'd vote for Saturday morning.
Yeah.
That'd be my pick. Because then we can even do it, and then it can be released on Sunday morning because it would be a church-based or a Bible-based show. Released on Sundays, the logical choice. Or it could be released like, Monday evening because I know they got like Monday fucking sermons or something. I want it to correlate with what church is. Either Sunday mornings, Monday evenings, however the fuck it is. Also gotta learn to make sure I don't cuss on that show.
Yeah, right.
But I don't, and I know sometimes it may seem like it, and if it does, it's because it's true. I want to push you, Joe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I want to push you because we've had this conversation.
Too.
Like I know there have been times on this show where you kind of just throw yourself into autopilot. And
yes.
I know those episodes happen. And at that point I was fine with it because at least the shows were getting pumped out. But then there was this moment, and I don't know what the fuck happened, and I'm happy that it did, whatever the hell it was. You kind of kicked yourself in the ass and got more passionate about our talking and what we started talking about. And there's a difference in it. Like I said, when I said I go, like, I listen to shows from like a year later stuff, I do. Like, I'll pop on fucking like season 3 and just fucking start playing them and listening to them and shit, and listen to how much we changed, how much we developed and everything. It's less like news anchorish and shit like that. But you could tell a difference in the interaction. And maybe a little bit has to do with the fact that, like, there's only 2 of us now rather than the 3 when Colin was here. So
it does make it easier sometimes.
Yeah, because you still want to fill that void in the communication, but now it's either, if I'm not talking, there's 2 other people who can pick up the slack. Now it's just the one.
Right.
But when you are motivated and when you push to do better, you make our shows better. It's not me who makes the show better, Joe. I want you to know that. It's you 100%. Because it's your response and your experience in podcasting that makes our show more enjoyable. I'm just the idiot that says stupid things sometimes. But you're the guy that kind of articulates it better for everybody. And not only that, a lot of our guests and stuff, I mean, like, they probably wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for you. Like cosplaying, I never would have got into if it wasn't for you. Maybe the musicians I would, yeah, but I mean, cosplayers, gamers, comics, stuff like that, that's all because of you.
Oh, well, thank you.
So I would do whatever I have to do to push you to be more motivated to do whatever you can here. Because I know that when you do that, it feels like you have a lot more fun. And I know it does a lot better for the show, which is obviously what we're aiming for.
Yeah, that's a solid point. I do have more fun, and I've had more fun this year on our show than I think. I wouldn't say most of the rest of it, but this year's been fun. I've had a really good time this year reflecting on it, and I think a lot of it has to do with actually giving it my all.
Yeah.
And not to say that I wasn't giving, but life gets busy and COVID sucked for everybody, and now we're getting out of it, and it's time to seize life again. I'm tired of not doing anything.
Well, yeah, and it kind of falls into the emotional, personal shit that I've been feeling about work related stuff.
Oh yeah,
it kind of dives into that because if you ever go back and listen to our shows, the best Joe on this show, 2019 and 2022. 2020, 2021, I mean, COVID impacted everybody. And I mean, obviously, like, you could feel that in you, and I get that.
Yeah.
But if you go back and listen to, like, 2018, we had like half a year because I went through a breakup and I handled it poorly, and I just fucking gave up on everything and walked away, which was my fault. And that was a fuck up on my end because of doing that, it set our fucking podcast back. Like, basically any work that we put into it, I fucking caused it to fail. That was my fault because we had a great stride happening in 2017, 2018. Like, our viewerships and downloads were growing so much. And then because I got petty in my emotions and decided, like, I want to fucking walk away. I did that to us. And that's,
I mean, by all means, take responsibility for what you feel you're responsible for. But Colin and I did not pick up the slack that year.
No, and that's okay. And obviously, like, I know Colin was kind of burned out from it. Obviously, he didn't come back. I think he came back for like maybe 1 or 2 shows in 2019, but then that was it. Yeah. And I get that. Colin, I think Colin's expectations for what this wasn't what it was for him. And that's fine with him. At the same time, I mean, you still got Keycast Live and you're still going to school at that time and shit. So you had other things you had to do.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I accepted that this wasn't a priority for that, and I was fine with that. JFW was the same way. I told Dally and DJ that, hey, I'm taking a break. I have to take a break, but keep doing the show. And they never did. And I didn't fault them for that. They had their own lives and shit. But I should have been able to sit there and say, hey, listen, this breakup does not define my life right now. This shouldn't affect me as much as what. First off, the person I was in a relationship with was a high school crush from a decade ago that for some reason what the fuck is the word?
Like the one who got away, or
not even that, like romanticized. Is that a word?
oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. I romanticized this whole fucking thing from those fucking romantic movies and all this bullshit. It was like, yeah, I guess the one who got away, the way purpose, like, this is a girl that I had a huge thing for in high school, but never fucking happened. Because I wasn't the guy for her. And then all of a sudden, 10 years later, now we're talking, now we're dating. It's like what dreams are fucking made of. And then when that fucking ended, I felt like I not only failed that, but I failed in life because if I couldn't make that fucking work, which believe me, best fucking thing to ever happen in her life. And I wish I would have fucking realized that then because I probably wouldn't have gone on the fucking long hiatus. But looking back, and nothing against you if you are listening to our show, you still are, you're a great person. And I am still willing to be a friend to you if you wanted to, but clearly that's not happening. Or else we probably would have talked at one point in time in the last 2 years or whatever.
Right.
So nothing against her. She just made really bad choices in fucking boyfriends. Her relationship is a fucking like checklist of fucking like this dude is either ODing in 5 years or in prison or whatever. Just a lot of shitbag fucking people. So when she ended up with me, somebody who comes from a great fucking family, who's God oriented, who is work oriented, who owns, I don't know, fucking plates. It just like she had everything great. But I don't know if she felt that like everything was too good to be true. And I think she had the same mindset I had. Everything was going so well. Eventually something was going to fall apart. And then she did it. If I would have realized all that now, I have no idea where we would be right now in 2022. But instead, we were shut down from June to November.
Right.
I think I came back and started doing them by myself for like maybe 4 or 5 months till Colin came back for a couple episodes, and I think March of 2019 probably like May, right. And I think you came back in June. But
right after I graduated.
Yep, when it was you and me in 2019, if you ever go back and listen to any of those shows, that's the fucking Joe that was like, I'm giving this my all. COVID happened. Nice. COVID happened. We kind of stumbled a little bit. We got some podcasts done. We stayed consistent pretty strong. There's a few times where we took breaks and everything. And then 2022 hit it again. Fucking everything was great. But I want to keep that momentum, and I want to keep this going. I mean, obviously the last 2 weeks is what it is. I wasn't feeling right last week. And that was one thing I think we mentioned before on the show, that if we don't put a show out, it's not the end of the fucking world. It's just right. Not, because I would rather skip a week than me sitting here with a fucking headache, just trying to get, like, if I'm just sitting here like, it's like, all right, Joe, so I mean, everything good with you? You getting ready for that? I just wouldn't be fucking into it.
Right.
And I don't want to do that. Yeah. So taking the week off, especially during the holiday, I don't think it's that big of a fucking deal, but we're back to doing this.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to do the next podcast, which we told you guys what it is, we're going to run through the Bible. It's going to be a Christian-based podcast because we do talk about, even though we said it before, at the beginning of this fucking whole adventure, we're not talking about politics, we're not talking about God. Well, we fucking threw that out the fucking window because once in a while we do talk about politics. Once in a while we do talk about God when it's necessary to talk about it.
Yeah.
But you guys know what Joe's job is. You know what he does. We want to create a podcast. And like I said, I'm on board 100% if you want to do it. I will push you to do it if you want to be pushed to do it.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do it, I'm good.
Maybe during the hiatus we can revisit it and talk about whether or not I want to be pushed.
Wait, what hiatus?
The holiday hiatus. We always take a couple weeks off for Christmas, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Christmas and New Year's week, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine
Yeah.
as long as we do talk about it during that time.
Yeah.
So, so we revisit because I do think it'd be a great idea. I think it explores a different avenue, and plus, if we do it Saturday mornings and we did Podbean lives of it and got people to interact with it, it's almost like another service.
Oh yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah, see, the ideas are here, Joe. We just got to fucking make them happen. So, like I said, I want this to grow. I want this to be something. And I'm hoping that I find out with you guys to do so. I know Nubby on JFW, he's all for making this what he can as far as wrestling. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but DJ might be coming back. And yeah, nice. I'm just excited because it's like I told DJ, it's like Freaknet Studios came together for us to grow together, and I want to keep that. Except for Sarge. Sarge isn't there, which is fine. Right. Me and Sarge are just so you guys know, me and Sarge are cool now. We're fine. We talked about it. Realized it would have been a lot easier if we just did it the right way in person. But feelings were, felt the way they shouldn't be. But Sarge is good. Sarge is he started his new career, so good luck to him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So because Sarge and I was working. Well, so the company I went to. Sarge actually went to after the company he was at, they parted ways.
Right.
Yeah, I think that we mentioned. But the company I left, he actually went to work for. So, and then obviously it was an advancement.
Oh, he went back to the other place?
Yeah, so the company I left, he went to go work at.
Okay.
And he's actually doing the job that I have at my new job is actually the job he's doing over at the other place. So
nice.
He advanced, well deserved. He's been in this business for a decade. So very, very bright in the industry. I'm sure he's going to thrive. So, best of luck to him again. There's no ill will between, us and the gray area, but we probably would have grown, but there was no way we were growing together. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
As much as we said like, oh, we're all Freaknet Studios, it's just other than the burger video, we never really did shit together, which is fine because we have a certain way of things we want to do here and he's doing his own thing over there and it's fine. What he's doing is working for him. What we do is working for us and it just, no. So, Sarge doing great. Nothing, the gray area, this freaking show, we're fine. It's a mutual respect thing. He's gonna thrive the way the way he does things, and I hope that we thrive just as well doing what we do here, and as well as growing on YouTube and stuff like that. Like I said, 2023, I want to kind of expand more into doing videos on YouTube, which is doable because we do got Skype and we do got videos. Obviously, since we don't live that close to each other, the times we can't get together, we can do them through Skype because we ate a Portillo's menu on video, so.
That is true.
Yeah. So, mental health, emotional shit, my mindset, blah, 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 blah. I want to dive into that.
Yeah.
So, and I really didn't know how bad I was mentally until I started this new job. So, the company I was working at, I guess to summarize briefly the knowledge about this company, is I worked from this company from 2012 to 2017 until they let me go because of cost cutting. Apparently they needed to let go of X amount of dollars annually. They looked at my salary and said, yeah, he could go. So I got let go and I ended up going to work for a couple other jobs after that paid pretty close to half of what I was making before. And I struggled really fucking bad. It was horrible. Now,
I didn't realize it was half, but Jesus.
Yeah, it was, I don't want to throw numbers out there, but it was, I'd want to say close.
No, half is understandable. That's good enough for me.
Yeah. To be honest, I'll say more like 60%. So it's not, it's like 60% of my salary. For family members out there who are listening to this show, I want to state right now, so going forward when I talk about this, you don't have any doubts. I've never once in my life contemplated suicide in any way. Never once in my life have I thought, if I end my life now, everyone will be better off. Now here's the disgusting part that some people might find stupid. I've joked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Never physically thought about it. There was never a moment in my life where I thought about killing myself, because I know deep down at the end of the day, if I was to kill myself, I'd be killing my fucking mother. I'd be killing my grandmother. I'd be killing my siblings. My family would be distraught if I ended up doing that. And I'm not saying that to sound egotistical, but I do come from a loving family that if I was to do anything like that, I know for a fact my mom would never recover from anything like that.
Right.
And I know for a fact that it would affect my stepfather, your father, because if there's a day where I take my life at my house and my mom's trying to reach me and I'm not answering, my mom's not going to be the one to come here and check on me.
Nope.
It's going to be Carl.
Yep.
And I'd be damned if I ever do that to Carl, to ever see one of his stepkids laying on ground or in a bed dead.
Yeah. I know you're being serious right now, but I am picturing him trying to like pick you up to like clean stuff. And I'm just thinking about like, not only would he have to deal with like the emotional stress, but he would throw his back out.
100%. He would 100% throw his back out.
It's just like, the absurdity of it makes me giggle. Not because it's funny, but because it's fucked up.
100%. No, 100%. Yeah. I would have to do it on the main level. Yeah, 100%. Right. On a dolly. Yeah. But
sorry, that's really funny. Definitely funny.
So to preference everything I'm about to say, I've never once considered suicide. Have I been depressed? Yes. Who hasn't? But depression doesn't always lead to suicide.
No.
So I never even thought about suicide. When I was at this job, I had a couple of jobs after 2017. I barely made enough money, and I had to pick and choose which checks, which bills I was fucking paying. I had to cash out my 401k to pay off some loans and stuff I had. I had to pay off my car loan because my truck loan cost me about $700 a month, and I couldn't afford that, so I had to find a way to pay that off. And I also had a loan for the remodel on the bathroom I did, because in my mind, I was like, I'm making decent money. I can get this loan paid off, no fucking problem.
Right.
Well, lo and behold, fucking a year later, even though I had like 3 years left, I fucking got laid off. So I cashed out my 401k, and what I did have in it, obviously they have all those penalties and taxes and stuff they take out. So I ended up with at least maybe half of what was in there. Paid off the truck. Yeah, paid off the truck, paid off the loans. Now the problem is I was not very cautious when it came to fucking money and finances. I poor money habits when I was younger. I wanted to spend more time going out drinking with my buddies and be able to fucking, pay them fucking, bar tabs and shit. So I had debt. And obviously I bought a house. I bought this house in October of 15. I got laid off in January 17. So I had a mortgage I had to pay for. I had a cell phone. I had car insurance.
28 years left.
Yep. I had the lights I had to keep on, the furnace to keep running, the air conditioner to keep running, electricity and water. I had to fucking bathe. So I had bills. And it's just me. For the most part, it's just me. Now, I was blessed with amazing parents, regardless of their weird guilt trips that they do, maybe consciously, maybe subconsciously, whatever. But I was blessed with great parents who are willing to help me out the best they can. If I needed some money for gas or some shit to get to work, whatever it is, they were there to help me out.
Right.
I needed new truck tires. My dad gave me money for truck tires and said, here you go. Let's let you know, this is your birthday and Christmas gifts for the next 2 years. Fine, whatever. I need tires now. I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. I can live with that.
Right.
But no matter what, bills never stopped, and obviously bills never stopped, I needed to get paid. But there were times where I would have okay, so I can pay this bill, but I can't pay it now. I have to pay it with my next paycheck. And, I got paid the one job I had, I got paid the 15th and the last day of every month. So when the 15th came around, I paid every bill I could, make sure I had enough money to get gas to go to work, which keep in mind, I live in Peatone and I was working up in Elmhurst.
Right.
And I drive a Hemi pickup truck. So, yeah, dude, it was about 700 miles a day round trip. It was about 700 miles a week. I'm sorry, not a day. 700 miles a week. Give or take. So it's about a little under 2 tanks of gas, a week. Sucked. Then I end up leaving there because there was discussions of me making more money if we got a certain level at the company. And even though we're getting to those levels, I never got the raise. So I left to go somewhere else.
Right.
And I was there for about a year. Pay was very similar. I think I got a couple $1,000s more a year. So I was making a little bit more money, but bills still weren't really getting paid, which sucked. After I got laid off there in December of 2019. And that date's important because for those of you who ever look for work and find jobs, they don't really hire at the end of the year because they got to do the financial closes and all that, the annual closes, and they don't really hire at the beginning of the year because they got to make sure they plan out the yearly budget.
Right.
So I didn't find a temp job until February, and that temp job paid like $10 an hour. Keep in mind, I still have a mortgage, still got bills. And then I did that for a couple months, through COVID, when COVID, kind of lightened up to the extent of how much it would lighten up in May of 2020. And the people who were off for like those 3 months decided to come back to work. They didn't need temps anymore. So then I was laid off again for a couple more months until I got called back to the company that laid me off in 2017 to do a completely different job. Now, here's the petty thing here's the one thing I'm going to say that's going to make me sound like a petty bitch. That they called me back and offered me a job that I feel was below me.
Right.
I believe, and I know that's shitty to say because, hey, I'm laid off. Any job is a job, and that's fine. But here's the thing. When you're working a salary office job for 4 years and you're fucking good at it, and I will say that till my dying breath, that out of the 4 people that were doing it when I was there, I was the best out of all 4 of them. And I care about the guys that I worked with, but I trained those motherfuckers.
Right, yeah.
I was the fucking best. And you call me up. And this kind of all, this is going to wrap up to my last day at this fucking job. I told you what happened on my last day at this job, right?
I think so.
But I didn't say it on air, correct?
I do not recall, if I'm honest.
Anyway, so this is gonna get to that point. So I get called and asked if I want to do this job, and I need a fucking job. Yeah, I'll fucking take it. Based on so I got paid hourly, but based on what the salary would have been for that hourly, it's probably, I'm gonna say, about 75% of what I used to make in January. So again, more money. But because I was willing to work more and I put in more hours, I actually was able to exceed what I used to make. So I was happy. Financially, I was happy. Work-wise, miserable. From October of 2020 up until November of 2021, everything was fine. It was kosher. I was working the extra hours. I was busting my ass. I was doing a good fucking job because there was a potential for me to get hired on to the company I was contracted to work at, because right now I'm just being a contractor through company, let's call it company A.
Yeah, sure.
Through company A to be contracted to this company to actually be hired on and make a shit ton of fucking money.
Right.
That didn't fucking happen. But anyways, on November 2021, I was fine. December 2021, I fucked up my back something fierce. I don't know how. Don't know why. I'm not saying it was work related. I'm just saying that I went to work, my back hurt, I came home, and it was absolutely fucking worse. I'm not saying it was work related. Yeah. But I don't know. I do not know. It could just be strained. For the entire month of December of 2021, I was laid up. I was miserable. I don't remember. I know I talked about it on the show, and I don't know if it came out in my voice or not, but I remember podcasting through that fucking month, constantly moving in my chair because sitting hurt, laying down hurt, standing hurt, walking hurt. Everything fucking hurt no matter what position I was in. I remember being on that fucking show, us talking, and me constantly moving in my chair and moving my fucking legs to extend them out or bring them in. Whatever I could to alleviate pain for a brief second. It was miserable.
Yeah.
I cried every fucking day because of how miserable my back was. And this was the moment. This is the moment I realized from December of 2021, I realized that I became afraid of positive things happening in my life because in my mind at that moment, I realized that good things do not stick around for me.
Mm.
It was, and I don't know, it's because I spent a lot of time laying in bed. I don't have a TV in my bedroom, and I really didn't look at my phone a lot because trying to hold a phone over my head in my hands or whatever, I just couldn't fucking do it. It hurt my back. I literally just laid there in fucking silence with my fucking thoughts, and I realized that every fucking good thing that happened in my life out of nowhere just fucking ends, and there's no rhyme or reason to it whatsoever. 2007, had a girlfriend, really cared about her. We had one little argument about something stupid, can't remember what it was. I went on a camping trip for 4 days and she fucking cheated on me. February of 2012, a girlfriend who I talked about wedding ideas with. No, I didn't get engaged to her. We talked about wedding ideas and baby names. That's how invested we were in our relationship. The fact that I got her the fucking ring to propose to her on Christmas until I lost my job the November before that Christmas. And I was like, fuck, I just spent all my money on this fucking ring. And now I don't have a fucking job. And then somehow, me going to the bar, granted, probably stupid, me going to a bar with a buddy of mine who offered to buy me Busch Lights. Now, for those of you who've never bought a Busch Light before, in 2022, a Busch Light costs anywhere from $1.75 to $2 a fucking can. Right. In 2011, 2012, those Busch Lights, 75 cents to $1.25, somewhere in between there, he paid. He said, hey, bro, let's go grab a beer. And I told him, I have no money. I can't do that. I got you. Let's go have a beer. And I had a beer, and I remember my girlfriend called me. Hey, where you at? Oh, I'm at 2nd Street with, so-and-so. We're having a beer. It's like, oh, so, you could go and spend money on beer, but you can't spend money on taking me out. And I was like, okay, so this is an argument that I know I can't win.
Right.
And but I tried to win anyways because I tried to be honest. Actually, Josh is paying for them. He picked me up, drove me up here. We're having beers, and have you found a job? Whatever. So, and I did. I found a job that was starting in like January or some shit. Never proposed because obviously we're in an argument, and I'm not going to propose to someone on Christmas because I don't want them to think in their mind, oh, well, this is trying to put a Band-Aid on an issue.
Right.
So, and then she fucking broke up with me over the phone. Somebody who I thought loved me, made wedding plans for. We were going to name our first son after her grandfather who passed away during our relationship. And I agreed to that. That was my fucking idea. Don't me over the fucking phone. Whatever.
Ridiculous.
It happens.
Yeah. Doesn't make it any less ridiculous.
Exactly. No, trust me. It happens, but it's just a continuation of everything bad that fucking happens in my life. It's just nutty. 2018, this relationship with this girl that I thought was going to be amazing and everything was going to be great ends in a fucking instant because she had to find a reason to fight for us to fucking end. Right. I know I talked about that, so I don't need to get back into that story. But the fact that she had to find a reason for us to fight in order for her to validate a reason to dump me.
Right.
I worked at job A, busted my ass, committed myself to this fucking job, slept 20 hours a week, let me go because of cost cutting. No other alternative. No cutting my pay. No doing that. Nothing. Just you're gone. Going to another job. Maybe getting a little bit better. Oh, now we got this fell through. Now we're gonna move your schedule, so now you have to change everything in your fucking life. And move to another job. Everything's going great. Oh, no, we have to cut costs. We have to let you go. Okay, go to fucking, go be a contractor at be a contractor at your old job as a new place. Everything's going good. Oh, your fucking back went out.
Yeah.
So when I came back in January of 2022 from my back issue, me and one other guy worked nonstop from January until I left that role in the middle of July. And we worked anywhere from it was like 48, 52 hours to 72, 74 hours a week. And trust me, the money was fucking great. Absolutely. I mean, like, so much fucking time and a half. The money is fucking incredible. I'll make more money this year than I've ever made any year in my fucking life.
Wow.
And I fucking earned it because of all the hours I fucking worked. To put it in perspective, the biggest salary I ever made was in 2017. For January to December. I made 75% of that by July of this year. That's how much that's how many hours I fucking worked this year. It was fucking insane.
Dang.
So in April I found out I didn't get hired on at the company that I was contractor at. I started to work there for a few months, watching other people less qualified than me get trained for the job that I was supposed to get.
Right.
Fucking, it was miserable. Fucking miserable. It's like, cool, you're making me watch people make 50% more than I am an hour doing the same job I'm doing, and they suck at it. One person, I'm not gonna lie, all of them were handed the fucking opportunity, which is fine. I have no ill will towards that. I have ill will towards the company who made the decision and lied to my face, telling me that they had to make they had to make their decision based on work experience and skill level. Like, I'm sorry, but when you are hiring for a job that somebody has been doing a year and a half, you can't tell me that they hired based on fucking work experience, because I am doing the fucking job. But I was like, whatever. It's just like, again, after December, I'm just like, this is typical. This is exactly this is exactly what's supposed to happen. I became this is exactly what's supposed to happen fucking thing. July ended. I left. We went and did the fucking cemetery vlogs.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, assuming everything went off perfect. Obviously we fell behind a little bit on scheduling, but we got everything done. Except for the one cemetery we weren't sure we could get into. We got everything done. Everything went out perfect. All those videos got released. All those videos are fine. The downloads are doing great on them. Except for the pitfall that had to have happened. No fucking audio for any of them.
Right. Because
good things cannot happen all the fucking time. They don't stay good the entire fucking time.
Right.
So after I got back from that, I started back at the job A's office doing a different job. And I was fine with it because it felt like I was kind of in charge and taking control of something, which is what I love to do. I love to kind of be the leader of something, of a project. So this was perfect for me. I was happy that I was doing this. And the only thing that sucked about the job at the time was being told by Big Boss. I'm going to refer to him as Big Boss. Being told by Big Boss every single week that if you guys don't do what you need to do, nobody's going to be employed by next month. If you don't do what you need to get done, we will all be lucky to have jobs by the end of the week. If you don't get this done, you'll be lucky to have a job by the end of this week. That was the thing. That was a constant reminder to everybody at that fucking company. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, you'll be lucky to have a job by the end of this week. The first time he fucking said that, completely defeated. I was like, this is all too fucking familiar.
Right.
This is exactly what I got let go from in 2017. Now, keep in mind, when I got let go in 2017, losing that money sucked, but the peace of mind I had was phenomenal. Not waking up in the middle of the night to fucking phone calls, not, worrying about what clients cared about what barge or where their figures and numbers were. Like, I didn't give a fuck. It was bliss. Fucking happy. But when I came back, because I needed to, I was like, of course I had to come back to this. Because I was making really good money doing something that I was okay with. And now I had to, it feels like every time. Do you remember those cartoons when like somebody would like run up a ladder and somebody would hack off the piece of the ladder and the person would drop down and then keep climbing, drop down and they hacked away bottoms of the ladder?
Oh yeah.
That's how I felt my life has been. I climbed the ladder, they hack off the fucking bottom, 3 rungs. Keep trying to climb, hack off, over and over. So I was like, of course I had to fall. Because I was starting to climb too fucking high. I got a call from that job that guy got turned down for in April. Because one of the new hires didn't work out. They called and offered me the job and I turned them down. Because I told myself, no matter what, if they offer me the job, I'm going to turn them down. Because I don't know what it was. And I cannot explain it. I know you will understand this. And I know you're going to understand it because of the job that you have now.
Yeah.
Something told me that I was better off without it.
Oh, yeah.
Something told me, like, listen, you're making this. And you could make this. And this amount that you will make with the job security it could provide, you'd be set probably for life. But you won't have any more freedom because their work schedule won't allow it.
Yeah.
You'll be constantly doing manual labor for 12 hours a day, X amount of days a week, from now until you retire, which isn't for another 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
well, and it wouldn't, it may not have been the job's fault the first time your back got fucked up, but if you're doing 12 hours a day for 35 years, eventually it will be the job's fault.
Exactly, 100%. So it's like, yeah, you could, if they ever offer you the job, you could take it and make great fucking money. But what's the value of your happiness? What's the value of your sanity?
Right. So, what's the point of being set for life if you don't have a life?
Exactly. So for the first time in my working life, I bet on myself to make the right decision. So when they called me up and offered me the job, I said, I appreciate it, but I'm not interested. And they were shocked by that. Because nobody turns down a job from this company. Because again, they're a union company, so their job security is there, and they make good fucking money. And I told them, I told them, listen, I understand, I appreciate the offer, but here's the thing, I'm just not interested. You guys told me flat out that I wasn't qualified for this job 3 months ago. And if you guys can't bet on me, then I'm going to bet on myself. So I appreciate it, but I'm not interested in the job. And they told me if I ever change my mind to give them a call. And I haven't called them since because I have no interest.
Right.
About a month later, I got a call for this job. And this job, the moment I got the phone call and the moment I got offered this job, my first response was, I don't want this job.
Mm-hmm.
Because this job is the job I got let go from in 2017. And I remembered when I no longer had to do that job, and I was fucking happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I go back to doing this, I know I'm going to be miserable again. And the person I was on the phone with explained to me how, even though it's the same job, it's not the same environment. It's not the same. It's not the exact same. It is the same. It's the same job title. It's the same responsibilities, but it's not the same. And I said, okay, can I have because they called me on a Friday, and I was like, give me the weekend to think about it. Just can I call you Monday morning and let you know? They said, that's fine. So I talked to Carl. I talked to my mom. I talked to my dad. I talked to a couple people who actually work at that. I actually talked to the person whose job the person I would be replacing there. And asked him flat out, why are you leaving? Is it worth me taking? He said he was leaving because he needed to do something different. He did this job for so long, he's just burned out. He needs to do something different, which was kind of a red flag for me. But realizing that I worked with this guy before at job A, he really he's a pessimistic guy. He always looks for the worst in everything, and everything's always the worst for him no matter what. So I talked to him and I asked him, like, is it worth going? And the best way for him to describe it is like, listen, Trav, he called me Travie, but it's like, listen, Trav, I'm going to try to do an impression of him. Listen, Travie, let me tell you this. This job is a shit sandwich.
No.
No matter where you work, no matter which company you work for, if you do this job, it's a shit sandwich. The only difference is that this shit sandwich tastes a little bit better than the others.
Mm.
I was like, okay. So, obviously, yeah. So, obviously, I'm still trying to figure it out. At this time, Carl told me that he got a job offer to go to this company, that he's taking it. And I was like, okay, well, if I go, not only am I doing the job that I don't want to do, now I'm going to be managed by my stepdad again, which I was managed by Carl before. It wasn't that big a deal. We butted heads sometimes, but it is what it is. So I texted the guy who called me, and this is still Friday night, and I said, hey, I need to know what the pay is. I need to know what it is, blah, blah. And he told me what the pay was. And for the second time in my life, I betted on myself. And I was like, if you could get me this, I gave him a salary amount, and I gave him vacation amount request. I was like, if I can get this, I'll take it. This is still Friday. Even though I told him I'll call him Monday. So if you get me this, I'll take the job.
Mm-hmm.
He texted me on Sunday. Good to go. Sent me the offer. I got the offer letter sent to me on Tuesday, I think. Exactly what I asked for. And I was like, well, I'd be stupid not to fucking go.
Right.
So, the following week, I went to go put my 2 weeks in to the big boss. And to summarize it and to cut out some of the colorful language that was used, I went in, gave my 2 weeks. He asked me where I was going. I told him that I was going to work for another company. He says, the other company a competitor? I said yes. He told me to get out. And at the time, I was working on this project that was very important to Company A. Very important. But I knew I'm going to get my 2 weeks, and I'm going to bust my ass to get this project on track and run idiot-proof by the time I leave.
Yeah.
Now, here's the dumb part of me. He told me to get out. I got a job offer to a great job. I was explained that the job is way better than it was at Intertech.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I argued with him to let me stay for 2 weeks.
No, I missed this. When did this happen?
This was all in the time he was telling me to leave.
Oh,
when I went in and gave my 2 weeks, I said, Michael, fuck it. Big boss, Michael, I got a job offer. I'm taking it. Just want to let you know that I'm putting my 2 weeks in. Where are you going? I'm going to work for another company. Is it a competitor? Yes. He told me to get out. I told him, Mike, I'm willing to work the 2 weeks. Don't want you to. Get out. Okay, well, I understand how you feel, but I'm willing to do the right thing here and work the 2 weeks on this project that you need help on before I leave, because there's a lot of things that needs to get done. Say he doesn't care. What I was doing, and here's the thing. Here's the thing you need to keep in mind, Joe, because I'm about to tell you a phrase that he told me that made me snap.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same guy who let me go in 2017.
Right.
Really good paying job that I did really well at. Keep in mind that this job I did in 2017 wasn't only just my job, but also a handful of other responsibilities that he put on me because somebody had to do it.
Right, yeah.
This is the guy that fired me. This is the guy that hired me back for a job that I felt was beneath me. But I took it anyways. Later to find out, because nobody else was willing to do it, and he knew I needed work. This dude looks me in the eye and tells me, after everything I have done for you, and you to go around and fuck me like this, you could go. So I look at him in a very calm manner, because I'm at the point now where it's like, okay, Joe, I don't know if you ever see me angry.
I don't know if I have either. Maybe once or twice ever.
It is terrifying. And I don't mean to be. I try to avoid being angry as much as possible. But when I am absolutely, like, I get frustrated, I get annoyed, but when I am absolutely angry, horrifying. Babies cry. It is scary. So I avoid that. But this is like one of the things, like, I really want to get angry. But I'm like, no, I'm not going to let him win.
Right.
I will not let him win. So I just sat there, looked right at him, and I'm like, listen, big boss, you want to talk about all the things you have done for me. What about you firing me in 2017, telling me 3 different stories on why I got let go? Because over the years, I was told 3 different stories by him why I got let go. You told me 3 different stories why you let me go. I made really good money, had a really good life, and you took all that away from me for no reason whatsoever. And then you hired me back here to do a job that paid less than I was making before because you needed somebody to do that job and no one else was willing to do it. And you told me that if I came back and I did this job, that I may be able to move up to a supervisor role if it opens up, or even my old job back if it's available. Now, the guy who I trained to do my job that you kept quit. He was my supervisor for this project. He quit. Instead of moving me into his role, you gave it to some lab guy who ended up quitting and going somewhere else. So now you're down a supervisor, you're down a lab coordinator, or an ops coordinator, and I still didn't get any of those jobs. And then when that job fell through, when we lost Sitco, because you couldn't hire enough people to do this job, even though I stayed through the entire thing, you didn't offer me my old job back like you said you would. You never gave me that supervisor job like you said you would. You asked me what I wanted to do. And you gave me a handful of options. And I picked them all. I said I was willing to do whatever you needed me to do to help better this company. I took on Buckeye and I learned to do octanes. And all I asked to do was get paid a little bit more money that nobody was willing to give me. And then he tells me, well, you never came to me about it. And I was like, but I did. And you told me that. Go to Julie about it. I'm sorry, other boss about it. And other boss never did anything about it. So now I can sit here and work this job at this amount of money a year. Or I could go do this job and make more money and have to work way less.
Mm-hmm.
I did all this stuff for you. I came back and I did this job even though it sucked. And I did this job even though it sucked. Even though you guys fired me. Even though you guys. And here's another thing that I forgot to mention. The fact that I got let go in 17. They called me in 18. Offered me another job. A different job in the office. And I said, tell me about the job. I'm interested. And then they ghosted me because they filled the position with somebody else. And then in 2019, they called me about another job, about my old job, because somebody was threatening to walk out and quit the job because they were sick of it. And they called me up and asked me if I wanted that job back. And I said, yeah, absolutely. Send me the information. And then that dude, the only reason he did it is to get more money. So they gave him a pay raise, kept him, and no one ever called me back again. So when I took this job in 2020, it was the 3rd time I was called by this company since they fired me to come back and work. And I didn't want to take it. I didn't want to take it for the fact that I was like twice now. And I told him all of this. That you've called me 3 times asking me to come back and work. And 2 times you never called me back. Mm-hmm. So don't sit here and tell me you did all of this for me and I'm fucking you because I did nothing but be a team player, to be a good employee, and did everything I could to do the best I can for this company. And you guys couldn't give me the raise that you thought that I felt like I deserved.
Right. Yeah. Who's fucking who?
Yeah. So he stood up. He said, I understand what you're saying. You could go now. He put his hand out. I shook his hand. I said, whatever. Packed up and left. Got in my car. I got in my car. I called Carl. Said, hey, just to let you know, I told Big Boss that I was putting my notice in, and he told me I had to leave. He said, okay. I was like, I just want you to let Julie know. So keep in mind, they never paid me for that. I worked that day from 6 to 11. Never got fucking paid. Whatever. Fine. I was like, just let my boss know that I had to go. Because she didn't know any of this happened. Because when people put their 2 weeks notice in there, every single person who put their notice to this company, everybody, Joe, everybody who put their notice in worked their 2 weeks, except me. And he doesn't think that I think that's not personal.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Your ops manager put his 2 weeks in to quit this company to go be a branch manager at a competitor. Worked his 2 weeks. You had a lab tech quit his job to go work at to work as a lab manager as a competitor. Worked his 2 weeks. You had an ops coordinator put his 2 weeks in, he worked. You had a minerals coordinator put in 2 weeks. She worked. Everybody who put 2 weeks in worked their 2 weeks, except one fucking person. So, I was pissed.
Yeah. You don't say.
I ended up going to this job. I was able to get to this job a week early. I took that week off. I think that was the week actually we did the voiceover. No, this was in October, so I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did that week. I think I just relaxed.
Yeah. Nice.
So I started my new job a week early, and everything since I started has been wonderful.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
I show up to work. At the other job, I dreaded driving to fucking work every day. I was always 15, 20 minutes fucking late. Here, I may be like 5 or so minutes late here and there, but that's because traffic is kind of random. Driving out to Plainfield. I have to drive to Plainfield, which is kind of a hike. But I show up to work. The people I work with are great. Everyone has been really nice. Now, obviously, I only got about a month and a half of data to kind of dictate what kind of job this is, but all accounts as of right now, everything there is wonderful. The job I'm doing that I was worried about, I was afraid of, isn't as bad as the job I had in 17. It's actually a lot more. It's structured better. I do still take phones, but I only take phones from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday is covered by somebody else. Weekends and holidays are covered by other people. I had phones during the week of Thanksgiving, and I had them 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Somebody else had them the rest of the time. I work with some really great people, and it's just, I've never been happier at any job that I've done. Like I'm happy at this job I'm at right now. And the biggest problem with that is based on everything that's happened in my life, the relationships, the other jobs, everything. I worry that something's going to happen.
Yeah, when's the other shoe dropping?
Yeah. And I can't get that out of my mind. And I've been trying, because I talk to a lot of people, and I tell a lot of people this all the time, is that God will challenge you all the time. He puts challenges in your life to show you how strong you are. And God never gives you a challenge that he doesn't believe that you're strong enough to overcome. No matter how weak you think you are, no matter how much you feel that you just can't overcome something, you can, and you have the ability to. God knows you have the ability to overcome it. So I feel like all these pitfalls, all these downfalls in my life are just challenges that, are being presented to me by a higher power to show how strong I am to get over it. Because maybe God looks at me and thinks to myself, you know what? You need to work on letting go of past relationships. And so he lets one go. And I haven't learned. So he lets another go, and he hasn't learned. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I need to find that will to sit there and say, hey, just because this relationship doesn't work doesn't mean I won't find one that will. Maybe I have to really feel that. And maybe I have to sit there and realize that, I don't have to take every single job offer that comes along, that I need to wait for the right one. And maybe not every job will be perfect. And I'm hoping I'm hoping that me turning down the job that I did opened the door for the job I have now. And I'm praying that this job doesn't have a second shoe.
Yeah.
If it does, I feel like I'm getting to a point now, after realizing all this stuff, after realizing all the downfalls and everything that went negative, that I realized that all I have to do is believe that there won't be there won't be a negative. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. I've always said that to myself, and I still believe it. If there was something to impact this new job in a negative way, I just pray it happens later on down the road where I can maybe build a nest egg or some shit. I don't foresee anything negative happening here, but past history dictates that it should happen. It's almost an inevitability that it could, but it may not. Like I said, maybe God has tested me enough in life. Maybe he's like, you know what? I fucked around with your career a lot. You've been laid off from numerous jobs. I've only quit maybe a couple, but I've been laid off from numerous jobs. I've never been officially, I guess technically job A officially fired me when I put my 2 weeks in, so I don't really know how that worked out. I don't know if I did quit or if I got fired. I guess fired. Technically, I guess I got terminated. So I've been fired from one job in my entire life. Rest of the time I've either been laid off or I voluntarily quit. If you work at McDonald's, you know what that means.
Right.
Self-terminated myself. That's how McDonald's refers to it. But I hardly ever quit, because when I go into a job, that job is my career until you give me a reason to no longer be there. And that's only happened a couple times. And job A was the biggest one. When he told me that I burned my bridge with this company, I had no problem with that. I was okay with that. Because if job A is ever my last option for a fucking job, I would rather live out of my car and try to make this a career path no matter what before I keep my house or anything else. That's pretty much the story of where we're at this point. And I'm happier.
Nice.
I think work-wise, everything's going to be better for me. And I think based on the work schedule that I have, it leaves us opportunities to do a lot more things for not only the podcast, but the network as a whole. Like I said, weekends I'm pretty free. Obviously the weekends that I would be having phones, obviously I gotta be responsible for writing up jobs, stuff here and there, but it's never like right this minute, get it done.
Oh, nice.
But I want to focus. I guess I tell you all of this and everything because I really want you to know that if you're willing to put in the effort I know you're capable of doing for this show, I want you to know that I'm here willing to do the same effort.
Nice.
I really do believe that and I know we've had this talk several times on this show. I know we have the potential to make this successful. I know this could be a Joe Rogan size show or a fucking whoever plays Silent Bob. I know, because I know that we have the ability to discuss things like this, relatable things in life to other people that, they may listen and like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. I've lived through that shit, because between the two of us, we've lived through a lot of fucked up things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I want to talk more about that on our show. I mean, the whole point of the show is to talk about freaking everything. And obviously, like I said, I mean, it's, we talk about, we'll talk about music, we talk about, comics, movies, TV, obviously we do our Halloween stuff, but this is the stuff that I think, we could open up more and discuss, especially on this show, because it is relatable to a lot of people. And I think talking about it and hearing how other people go through it definitely helps them out. Like I said, through my entire, let's say, last 5 years, almost 6 years, I went through a lot of shit work-wise, financially, money-wise, shit like that. Never once did I think about suicide, but I think it's because I had a strong support system through my family and my friends to kind of help keep me like in check and, show me the love that I needed to see in order to show that I'm not affecting just me, I'm affecting everyone if I make the wrong choice.
Right.
A lot of people don't have that, and it's unfortunate. But if one person who has those horrible thoughts listen to this show and that makes a difference, that's what we do this for. At least that's what I do this for. I don't want to speak for you, Joe, but I'm sure we're in the same boat on that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's one of the things that podcasting is about is, letting people know they're not alone.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I know we talked about during Suicide Prevention Month. I think we talked about with Clint maybe a couple years ago or last year that you have those thoughts and everything. You can always reach out either to us or obviously there's hotlines and numbers to anyone you could reach to talk about it because this world is rough going through it by yourself. As much as I tell people that I could be okay living my life completely on my own, I don't want to test that theory. So, and I don't think I have any reason to. So, I'm going to take this moment to plead to you listeners who are out there now. In 2018, I made a mistake of walking away from this because of my own personal bullshit. And I never should have done that. And I regret it every day because of the decrease in viewerships and stuff that we have received because of that. So for those of you out there who do listen to our show, who still, download it every single week when it's released, I encourage you to share with somebody our podcast. We have, like I said, I love doing this podcast because we talk about everything. We have something for somebody, which I think is pretty fucking cool. Whether, if you're a comic book geek or a gaming geek, movies, Halloween. Halloween I love talking about so much because I think that's one of our biggest successes. But also this shit right here, this entire podcast was about, dealing with emotions.
Mm-hmm.
If one person who listens to this show shares it with somebody else and just says, let's give it a listen, and that person shares it with somebody else and continue on, then that could get us to a point where we could do more content. We could grow. And who knows, maybe this freaking show and freaking the studios, maybe in the next couple of years, would, become a more common household name and shit. And, that's what I strive for. So I encourage you guys, we can only do so much. We can record the podcast, we can share the podcast and release it and everything, but it's up to you guys to listen to it, to share it with your friends, tell them who we are, tell them what we're about and everything. And not every show is going to be like this. Not every show is going to be bummy and depressing. We do have a lot of fun and stuff. I mean, hell, one time we talked about a fucking French press for like 10 minutes. It's nice. Right. Next week, we're going to discuss what a single dad is, because I had that argument at work recently, and apparently my definition of a single dad is different than apparently the fucking world's.
All right.
So we'll check on that next week. Before we cut out here, though, Joe, real quick, tell me what you're freaking thinking about.
I am freaking thinking about, honestly, the podcast I was on with Paprika and GCR this week. It's going to be out in January, but it was a really good time. It was we did a so Paprika, if you're not familiar with it, it's a podcast network over I don't know where it's at, but they got a great, really responsive group on Facebook that's really fun to be a part of, and they do a lot of brackets throughout the year, a lot of different like geek, geek's probably the wrong word, but like movie brackets, and what's the best console for gaming, what's the best horror movie, things like that. So GCR and I got on and we casted our quote unquote perfect heist movie, And so sometime in January that should drop. Seed and his buddy Jermon did their idea of a perfect heist movie, and GCR and I did ours, and it was a really good time. We had a lot of fun, and I recommend keeping an eye out for that. So that's what I'm geeking on this week. Freaking thinking about.
Awesome. Well,
not bad about that slip there.
It's fine. You did slip up on one more thing, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it'd probably be a lot easier for them to look for it if you tell them the name of the podcast.
Oh, I think it's going to be Paprika, the Paprika podcast.
Oh, I thought it was okay. So GCR does a different podcast, and you just use that style on the Paprika podcast.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the GCR podcast called?
Yeah, he does another show with Seed called The Recast Cast.
Okay, gotcha. So, but the podcast is called Paprika Podcast? Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yep. Cool. Okay, then. Well, then you didn't slip up. I was just misinformed.
Yeah, no problem.
I misinformed myself.
Yeah, I don't know that I was super clear what I was talking about it. But anyway, what are you freaking thinking about?
Honestly, the one thing first off, I was excited about doing this show for the very reason of getting that story out there. I would, like, I'm not gonna lie, when you said you couldn't record Tuesday, I'm like, oh god, I gotta wait 2 more fucking days. But
sorry.
I was cool. Well, no, I'm cool with it because of 2 things. 1, because as long as the show gets done, I'm fucking happy. And 2, if you get your name out there more to an audience, I think it helps the projects you work on. I'm going to assume that this freaking show didn't pop up on the podcast, and I'm fine with that. I don't want you to think that I'm bitter about that. But Cartoon Joe showed up on that podcast. So when people look up Cartoon Joe, they find Geekettes Live, they find this freaking show. So it's about networking. That's the biggest thing that's going to help us here. So I was like, oh man, I really want to get this fine. Okay, you know what? I can wait 2 more days. I got the story lodged in my fucking head. Plus, this is a great networking opportunity, not only for Cartoon Joe, but to be selfish about this freaking show as well. So honestly, like, I was just really excited about doing this show, just because I want to get the story out, but also because it's been a couple of weeks, since we did one, especially a banter one, because of the interviews and stuff that we recently had. So, and I'm just really excited for the future ones and everything we do. Like I said, Joe, I love doing this show, and I love doing this with you. And I don't want this to end. I want us to keep going, and growing it would be fucking magic.
Yeah.
But it's not even just growing this show. It's growing Freakin Studios. It's growing that network. And I don't want to give up on that. And like you said, you want to give the other podcasts a try, and that's all we're going to do.
Yeah.
We got 9 episodes to see if it sinks or swims.
Ooh, nice. I like that. That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah. Which, by the way, speaking of newer podcasts, if you guys haven't had a chance, go check out Babes of Lore. I think they just released episode 4 this week. So they're moving right along. They seem to be enjoying it very much. I love listening to them, and it's a lot of fun to go and watch the episode of Supernatural before I go and listen to their podcast. So it's kind of nice kind of catching these episodes of Supernatural. I haven't seen in a long time either. So they are currently available on Spotify. As far as iTunes, I think you have to get a certain amount of downloads out before iTunes will release your episodes. But you can find them on Spotify. You can find them on Podbean. Just search Babes of Lore. Awesome girls. Like I said, they release on Wednesday mornings. Episode 4 just dropped this past week, so make sure you do check them out. Shout out to you guys. Keep crushing it. Keep committing to it, and I think you're going to succeed pretty well. Clint, if you're listening to this, honestly to God, man, reach out to me. Get a podcast fucking going. Be part of Freakin Studios with us, because I think that'd be pretty epic. Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Every week our listeners can catch Cartoon Joe here on this freaking show. But it's only for about an hour or so. And I know an hour or so of Cartoon Joe just isn't enough for our viewers. So if they need to get more, where can they go?
If you need more Cartoon Joe, you can find me over at the Geekcast Live podcast at violentpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Twitter by searching Geekcast Live.
Perfect. Guys, make sure you check us out on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter just by searching This Freakin' Show, as well as downloading our episodes when they are released on iTunes, Google Podcasts, and Spotify just by searching This Freakin' Show. If you are following us on iTunes or if you're following us on Spotify, make sure you subscribe to our show and make sure you give us a rating because that does help us increase I think it helps us pop up more on like recommended and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you subscribe to us on Spotify, Podbean, iTunes, Google Podcast, and I believe you could rate us on Spotify and iTunes. All that stuff does help us out here on This Freaking Show. So I do appreciate it, guys. That's all I got. So as always, I am Travis T.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of This Freaking Show. I'm out.